This is the Silt Verses role-playing game. We are in part 11 of our campaign, Drowned Revelations, and we've had another couple weeks off, so I'm going to try to recap and get us back into a horrible circus. And we don't have David today, so we will kind of figure out a reason next time about what our Karen Stewart is up to. That should be pretty straightforward. But our custodians are investigating some kind of circus that is drawing people in. And last session, you all attempted to answer the question, where is the circus located? Rolled a miss. And I actually don't remember what you proposed originally, but we ended with a scene of you discovering a path sort of into the woods and seeing some sort of high wires overhead with clowns walking silently along, and found yourselves kind of drawn towards the heart of whatever these circus lights are. And of course, as players, everyone added the most horrific details about clowns for some reason. So we've already set the bar high, and I'm excited to see where this goes.
I think eggs were involved at some point. I'm
Eggs,
not sure.
some real world horror about the way clowns copyright their makeup look, right, by
Yeah.
painting eggs with their
Yeah.
faces.
Yes.
But we made it so much worse. I'm so impressed. So you actually have two new questions. I've put them in the keeper. You could answer either one of these. The first one is, how can the effects of the circus be counteracted to prevent its wonders from taking root? Complexity 4. This lets you resolve the assignment by finding a way to purge the effects of the circus from those affected and show the population a way to protect themselves from its influence. Or the other question is, how is the heart of the circus most vulnerable? Complexity 4. Resolve the assignment by killing the heart of the circus and preventing it from growing back. So depending on the approach you want to take, those are both options. And you also have a verse available to you for this assignment called the Verse of the Prodigal Path. Each custodian tells of a time when they considered abandoning their responsibilities and taking to the open road instead. So I think we can pick up with all of you. I kind of implied before with the mist that you were sort of just sort of drawn towards these lights in the woods, and you kind of are experiencing maybe what a lot of the local population has, where this sense of wonder is starting to take root in you, and you just are compelled to see what this source of magic is, following these clowns walking overhead. It's this weird scene at night. And I will add, at some point you see some of the lights as you draw closer. There's a bit of a clearing in the woods, and you kind of see a road nearby. And from a distance, it is actually a roadside diner. There's a 24/7 roadside diner. There's a neon sign of this many-headed cartoonish pig slicing ham steaks off its own body. And the name of the diner is Kitty's. Seems to be open. There's some people milling around outside. You could stop here. You could continue on. But I'll give the scene to all of you and see what you want to do.
I think my first question is, how close is a circus like that we are, and where are the clowns that we were following in respect to this diner? This is very important.
I think I'll say that those high wires were kind of going through the trees, so you've seen
Mhm.
them kind of head out that way. So the
Okay.
diner's here, a stop along the way if you want to make a stop. Otherwise, I think you see more distant lights in the night, kind of the impression of maybe a Ferris wheel, kind of a circular arc, very slowly rotating.
All right, everyone. What's the vibe?
It might not be a bad idea before we go to the extremely creepy circus to stop and answer some inquiries. Perhaps people in this diner know more about the circus, and they can inform us as to its dangers.
They are very close. Surely they know something about it.
I'd hope so. But if the person serving us at the diner has a big red nose and squeaky shoes, I suggest we run.
I think Merriweather is looking toward the lights of the circus, like clearly sort of mesmerized, and she'll like very slowly put her sunglasses on over her eyes as though that's going to protect her from its influence somehow. And she says, I don't think I'm hungry. I might meet you all at the circus.
I know you're very capable, Merriweather, but I'm not sure that's a good idea.
Why not? Isn't it the greatest place on earth?
I mean, these people aren't legitimate theatre, Merriweather. It's a lot more shambolic, improvised. I'm just saying they might see you as a threat.
And rightfully so, frankly. I
I think Merriweather gets very serious in a way that she like very rarely is, and she says, maybe, but there's someone I'm looking for, and I think they might be there or headed there. I don't know, but I feel like I can't waste any time.
Understood.
Can we ask who? If they're not there, maybe they're here?
My cousin.
Oh. I'll keep an eye out for someone who looks vaguely like you. Maybe.
Merriweather opens her mouth as though to say, like, he doesn't look anything like me, but then she just like shuts up.
Great. Is Lucas with you all? I think we're still.
Oh yeah. We have
Okay.
not abandoned the boy.
Right.
But I think it's getting increasingly dangerous to have him with us, but he's here. He's here.
He's probably going to be like, they have food at the circus. They have probably more interesting food. That's just like coffee and they have cotton candy. They have food that looks like food, but it's actually cotton candy and it dissolves. And I heard that they have like these eggs where it's like a candy egg, but you break it open and then like there's a candy animal that hatches. So Lucas is going to be pushing to go to the circus and doesn't understand why you all would want to stop.
Up to you, Merriweather. If you want to take him, no obligation. We can certainly make him stay with us to investigate the diner.
I could take him, but I am running out of cigarettes.
Lucas, give her your cigarettes. I don't think he has any cigarettes, Merriweather.
I think he totally produces like a half pack of them, like as if he knew what he was going to do with them.
Where did you get that?
I was just saving them.
Okay. You know what? It's always good to have a cigarette on you. I think it's a good social play. Don't smoke them though, please.
Yeah, he probably found them off one of the soldiers back at the camp or something. Who knows?
It's just looting people.
Yeah.
God. Oh my God.
Okay.
So, I mean, yes. Once again, it sounds like Merriweather is taking the child.
Are you taking? You don't have to.
Yeah, no, I think she will. I think as like Lucas and Merriweather are walking away, we see her lean into him and say, like, "Did you steal these? You look sick, kid." Like pats him on the shoulder.
It's like, well, yeah, totally did. And yeah, he's again trying to. He's cool. He can be a custodian,
Oh my God.
I will say we'll come back to Merriweather in a second, but I think as you get a little closer, just you start to make out there seems to be like a midway of a few different tents, a couple smaller structures like vendor stalls, and kind of on the other side, it's like you're going through some woods, and on the other side is like a field, and on the far side of this field, it looks like there's an old shopping mall. like an abandoned shopping mall that's maybe been kind of decorated temporarily. They've kind of set up this circus in this big vacant lot, it looks like.
It's not creepy.
Mm.
Not at all.
Everywhere's terrible here. But you found a diner. I've described this sign. There's that many-headed cartoon pig, and as you approach, you see a crowd of customers are huddled outside. And some of them are still like they're wearing their napkin tucked in their shirt. One of them's holding like the diner coffee mug, and they're kind of peering in the windows. The doors are shut, and they're kind of talking amongst themselves. A bit of an odd scene. It's it's nightfall, I believe.
Are there like anybody like in uniforms, like workers or like servers, a hostess, anybody, a chef, or is it just
You-
like all customers?
It's mostly customers. You do see a bit of a fidgety, looks like one of the cooks has the apron, kind of greasy apron. And sorry, this is great. I think Michael's updated this trap.
Oh my God,
So I'm looking
holy
at like,
shit.
oh, it's weirder. Awesome. Facial features are long and heavy at the bottom, as if melted from a life over a stovetop.
Wow.
And you see him kind of reassuring the others, like, well, I reckon it won't be much longer. I do apologize, ma'am, but there's only so much I can do. I'm the assistant to the cook. The chef can handle this, I assure you. You hear a crash from the inside and some kind of rumbling. You don't know what that is from, but there's some sounds of struggle from the inside of the diner.
Oh, I like lean in a little bit to the good doctor, like, this is not our problem. This is not our problem.
It's very close to the circus here. This could well be our problem.
Oh God, okay.
Oh,
All right.
I forgot to paint the scene question for you. Sorry. Let's do that. As you kind of are starting to see these people, how can you tell that the customers outside are more entertained than terrified by these sounds inside the diner?
I think there's like a pair of kids that are trying to like they're like daring each other to get close and like look in the window, and their mom keeps being like, stop it. But like not really concerned.
I think there's a vending machine out front, and someone is, every time there's a crash, he times it so that he just knocks it and shakes it to get some of the treats
Nice.
out for free.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. Can you repeat the question?
Oh, sure. How can you tell the customers outside are more entertained than terrified by what's inside the diner? Which I'm kind of teasing. There's just sounds of commotion and crashing. Something sounds like sounds of struggle.
I think that there are two younger people, maybe teens, kind of posted up by one of the side windows of the diner, and they're like sharing a little bucket of popcorn between them and just popping it into their mouth and laughing and pointing at whatever's going on inside.
My God. Amazing.
It's great.
Zeph just like, okay. And like just walks up to the cook. Like, I guess this is what we're doing. What's do you know what's going on in there?
He looks at you and goes, well, there's I don't want you to be alarmed, but there's a bit of a delay in the service, and everything's fine. It's just had a lot of I don't know what's going on, but it should resolve itself soon. It should settle down, and we just need to wait till it's safe. And it's kind of peering into there's food at the circus also if you're hungrier.
Oh no, I don't I'm perfectly fine. I'm you're not going to alarm me. I'm rather curious. I mean, nobody seems concerned, so I don't see how dangerous it could be.
Those teenagers are in there. It's like, I can see why he didn't go to the circus. He's not a lion tamer at all. And they're kind of laughing at each other. You hear a roar from the inside and further crashing, but it sounds like metallic and
Just
sounds of wet tearing.
just look over it. Doctor Quick, like,
It happens from time to time. The quality of some of the produce, in these parts, we've had a few hiccups. We're trying to change our sourcing to some more local options. So, but yeah, it should be under control. He's just getting increasingly nervous. This cook is not used to being the sort of host, clearly.
My dear fellow, you are babbling incoherently. What exactly is happening in there? What is going to settle down?
Kind of looks in there and says, well, I don't mean to badmouth. A lot of these folks are here for the circus, and sometimes I suppose things are affected by the circus. I don't know if it escaped or if it was something woken up by the circus, but I've tried to contact some of the circus staff to come and take it away. But it appears we have a lion in our diner.
like a real one?
And I think at this point you just hear those teenagers are just like kind of commenting. They're like, now do you think if we cut it apart would it become meat again? Because it and you kind of, if you happen to glance in, you can just see the scene. I've been teasing it out, it's in the description though, that there is, it looks like a lion, but it is made of meat and metal kitchen equipment. It looks like just assembled parts of the kitchen have just like solidified into a vaguely lion-like shape.
Okay. See, this is what I said. It's
The door kind of like shudders as it's being clawed against, and the customers are sort of, one of them even like applauds. It's like, see, I told you this was a good vacation destination. The folks around here, it's sort of like this immersive theater thing. It's not just at the circus.
Okay. Zeph, I hate to admit it, I think you may be right. The lion, at least, is safely ensconced. So,
mostly.
can you tell us a bit more about how this thing came to be? What did you see anything that might have caused this creature to come to life?
Yeah, let's do an information move here. It sounds good.
Okay.
Could be probably presence if we're talking it through here.
Okay, I've got my good old presence of 0, so let's have a look. 5 and a 3 and 8.
Great. We'll come back to the 8, and let's go over to Merriweather for a moment. Merriweather, you're with Lucas, who's eager to just kind of go see what the circus is about. Maybe he's never been to one. I think you see. Actually, do you all remember if there was a circus flyer before? I think we'd seen that somewhere. Okay.
I think so.
Perfect.
Yeah, there was a circus flyer, and then there was a flyer with cousin on it. I think that was a missing person.
That's right.
Right?
Okay.
Am I incorrect about that?
I think it had niece on it, actually.
Niece. It had niece on it. It had niece on
okay.
it. That's who it had.
Nice. So we'll use his flyer as a way to kind of just lay out some more of what's here. There, it says there's a mall of mirrors apparently. There is clown in a hurry. Like, it sounds like it's confusing if it just means like if it's rent a clown or if it's like a clown race, but it just talks about like, a clown whenever you need it. There is and I don't know if this would mean anything to Merriweather, but there is an advertisement for Guddle and Croak, pox monks, licensed, but it's kind of got the circus flair. It's just sort of like miracle cures, miraculous fizzes, fun for the whole family, and various circus vendors. It also just says, see Big Top, the wonder, behold, a universe within the tent. Also very vague, just a lot of kind of old timey claims about like see the most wondrous things in the world. But some things you might get from that is there is a midway full of different vendors. There is something to do with clowns at another place, and there is a mall of mirrors, as well as like the big circus tent itself, where I guess this show happens. So you could go to any of those places if you want.
Yeah, I think we see Merriweather like lift up her sunglasses so she can read the flyer, and when she gets down to the clown in a hurry, she just goes, "No," and keeps going.
Fair enough.
But I think she'll look at Lucas and take his hand and say, "Well, we're here. I guess we might as well see the main event. How do you feel about starting at the big top?"
Yeah, let's go. We can maybe we'll see the other things when the others catch up. Maybe if the food's not good, they'll want to try some cotton candy or something.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can go towards the largest tent. I think it's earlier in the night. Things aren't in full swing yet, so you see looks like some performers actually, or would-be performers approaching the tent. You see a younger person wearing goggles and this helmet with a star that's painted on the side, dressed in like mechanics overalls, and he's hauling this large paper mache cannon behind him. And I think you hear something about like tryouts for next week's performance are opening in 5 minutes. He's like, looks at you all and is like, this is it. This cannon, this is like the one I saw. It's gonna be great. I saw this last performance. This woman climbed in, and like this painting man with the fire gave the cannon a bump, and the woman flew like in a million pieces into a net. It's amazing. I'm gonna do the same. I'm gonna do it better though. Anyway, I gotta go. You can go with him, but but you see someone clearly enraptured with the idea of the circus heading towards the tent as well.
I think Merriweather does kind of follow behind this guy with the cannon.
Hmm.
And she's holding onto Lucas's hand like real tight. Like she is not going to let him wander off on his own, as much as
Sure.
he might like to.
Yeah.
But I think she's like not quite sure yet what she's going to do, like whether she's going to try out and like see where that
Mhm.
leads her. But for now, I think she's just kind of scanning
Mhm.
the people, like the workers, looking for someone with her face, looking for Nice.
Sounds good. Yeah. Let's do an information move there just to see. Yeah, if you find niece number one, but if you learn anything from the workers or the performers. Sounds like insight.
Yeah,
Want to do
sounds
that?
right to me.
Cool.
I do have the condition hazy. I don't know if you want to say that applies.
Um, sorry, I have not looked at everyone's conditions yet here, and it is not loading for me. I think it's okay so far. We can save that for something else if we want.
Okay.
See when it comes up.
I will not argue with you. Oof. Oh wait, my insight's 1, so that's a 7.
Okay. The 7 will come back to that. Let's jump back to the others for a moment. So you were asking about, Dr. Quick was asking about how this lion manifestation came to be. And let's see. I think you see, well, this cook who goes by the nickname Salty just says like, all I knew is I went round the back to refill, to restock napkins, getting some supplies, and I heard this commotion from the walk-in, and I came out, and everything in the kitchen had just attacked the chef. And I don't know, I've heard something special about the circus. I hear that things come alive. That's what's magic about it, and maybe some of that had followed someone here. He goes, "Now that's weird though." And he kind of, you notice as well, there's just a large stuffed lion that's kind of laying off to the side. It looks like one of those large prizes you win, like oversized stuffed animal. But I'll add that it seems to be like leaking stuffing, almost like something is burst out of it. And that's the clue, is an enormous stuffed animal. But I will say that it's a lion.
So this hasn't happened before? This is like a new thing that you're dealing with.
Oh, yeah. I mean, some people come from the circus, and we've had a lot of failed performances. Someone thinks they can juggle. Someone wants to try a high wire act, and sometimes it's fun. Sometimes we gotta encourage them to move on, because we are just a diner here, But no, nothing like this. You hear another roar, and so you hear one of the teenagers just say, like, "I don't think he's gonna do anything, Jimmy. That he's not moving." And they're kind of like talking about, I guess, the chef in there. It's like,
Yikes.
yeah, this is kind of, let's go to the real circus. This isn't really a show. I told you it wouldn't be that interesting.
Salty, when you said that the chef had things under control, is the chef, in fact, on the floor in there hemorrhaging out? Is that what's going on, or?
He kind of goes to look in the window and goes, he's not on the floor. I suppose I'm gonna be the chef now, aren't I? Sorry, folks, we're gonna have to close for a couple hours. The circus staff should be here soon to kind of round up. Just little escaped act. They probably need it for their show tonight. But please come back soon. And starts to like say, "Oh, we have some vouchers for the inconveniences," trying to hand out like circus tickets. But yeah, you can confirm this pretty quickly if you glance in the window. Although this isn't exactly a clue, but where was it? The cook seems to be holding, they're kind of like sprawled on a chair. They're half holding up another chair, and looks like a whip. But they're just kind of like sprawled out, clearly dead.
Huh. So is that our cue to leave, or?
There's some
There's
grumbling,
nothing
I think. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go.
I was say, maybe with what we've established of not all the customers being too concerned, I think some of them are clamoring, like, let the creature out and just like give them a proper show here. And like someone's swearing that he could fight it. Yeah, so definitely time probably to choose either to leave or do something to engage with this, because some of the people here they're not all dispersing.
As we used to say down at the hospital, a fool and his innards are soon parted. Let's leave, shall we?
If they want to fight this thing, they can. That's not my business.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna dip.
Sounds
we are
good.
dipping. This is
Yeah.
so not our issue.
Yeah.
Oh, Zeph is like relieved that Dr. Quick is willing to actually not engage with this thing, because he didn't really want to fight.
I hear as you leave, I think one of the customers says like, "Well, the way they wave red flags to get bulls to charge. I hear lions are actually scared of polka dots. That's why you see the clown costumes. And he's like picking up some polka dot like patterned like tablecloth or something. It's like, I swear this works. Like check this out. And
Oh, they're all going to die. That's
where do you make your way towards out of those other locations? What area you'd want to go to next? Sort of midway with many different stalls, the big tent, the mirror house.
If we want to investigate the circus, I'd imagine the big tent is likeliest to be the heart of the disturbance. Do you not think so, sir?
Unfortunately, I think so. I think this is whatever's eating people. So we might as well go to the source instead of milling around. Also, I have a feeling the mirrors might be dangerous.
Yes, I think let's stay clear of the mirrors.
Merriweather and Lucas didn't go in there.
Wise choice. Give me a second. We're going to cut back to them. I'm just looking at reviewing the clues. We have 2 clues. Okay. Clues that one of them you all made up, which is just messed up.
God, credit to John for that one.
People's faces and puts them on eggs. Yeah, other people's. Great.
Horrific.
So I think it's funny. A lot of the clues for this aren't immediately weird, but we can build on that. I think Merriweather, it was an 8, right? Or a mid result you got?
Yeah, it was a partial success.
Okay. You do not see Nice, but you do see one of these other performers. It looks like she's doing sort of a pre-show little musical act. She's got a bowl-shaped haircut. She's very tall, but is kind of crouching to seem less threatening and to kind of get down the level of the children. She's playing this cigar box guitar and quite deftly, actually. You can kind of see like her build. Maybe she looks like she does a lot of like gardening, yard work, just kind of has like rough looking hands. And it also looks like she's wearing overalls, like she's kind of added on a couple of pieces, like a little we'll say like a top hat over this haircut. And the song stops, some of the children clap, and you realize that there's a croak coming from her pocket, and she has a pet toad. And she goes, "Now look out, children, Mr. Rob the Bank's not one to be trifled with. I'm just messing. He's my singing partner here. Now when the mood strikes him, when he's not thinking about crime, right, Mr. Rob the Bank?" And the children kind of laugh at that. It's like, no, we got to encourage him to sing along. And she kind of starts up again. And the clue that you see is there is, you'll see even the circus animals are getting excited for the show. It's coming right up. And you see a dog wearing a rough collar, endlessly dancing on its hind legs. I think the weird thing about it is that it's not, no one seems to be directing it. It's not like someone is kind of holding up a treat or anything like that. It's just kind of making its way around, dancing. Seems to be sort of under some strange influence. I also just saw the spelling, rough collar. Nice. I think the complication maybe is that the crowd is sort of pressing in a little bit. And Lucas wants to try out for the circus. And it seemed like we could be a part of it, Merriweather. Like, wouldn't that be awesome? You could play some music or something. You could sing a song. I bet I could do some fireworks. Zeph showed me how to blow things up. And the circuses have like big shows. I could just find some that they haven't used yet, and like I could put on a show. Maybe it could be an act together. But I think the complication is that he's sort of becoming obsessed with this idea of joining the circus. And you can kind of see that gleam in his eyes as well, as this is maybe a little bit more than passing fancy.
Yeah, Merriweather hears him saying that, though she's still kind of staring at this dancing dog.
Mhm.
And she turns to him and she starts saying, like, you know, Lucas, listen, we can't. And then she sees his face and like the childlike wonder there. And she realizes with chagrin that she actually likes this kid and cares about him having fun. She doesn't know when that
Yeah.
happened, but
Nice.
ugh. Uh, and, um, and also it's like she's looking for a weirdo. The people at the circus are weirdos. If she, spends time among them, maybe that'll be actually good for what she's here to do. So,
Mhm.
she's like, yeah, yeah, let's try out. That's actually a great idea, Lucas. Come on, let's see if we can catch up to that guy with a cannon. And she'll like weave through the crowd following the guy
Mhm.
that she spoke to before.
You actually you see him kind of furtively going around the side of the tent and kind of like trying to bypass the line. And you see him kind of like find like a gap in the tent and just like slip in on his own. So you can probably do the same if you want to.
Yeah, she'll follow that exact route, like right behind him. And she's saying like, hey, what's your name?
Oh, it kind of
Cannon guy.
turns it. Shh, shh, shh. We're not so loud. I'm a part of the circus. You're right. We're part of the act here. Okay.
Yeah,
Um,
right.
because it's Elmo Pazzo is the name. Um, what's
Elmo Pazzo.
yeah, let me paste that for you. Kind of looks doubtfully at the two of you and just like, so what's your act? I got a cannon.
Um, oh, so because I marked the Bleeding Revelation, I have a new thing I can do
Oh, cool. Yeah.
where when I encounter a new side character, I can ask the keeper what role the watcher wants to see them play, and the keeper will answer either
Nice.
directly or cryptically, your choice.
First thing that popped in my head is the miraculous fool. So I think the watcher wants to see this sort of fool's journey, and some sort of spectacular show from that, some spectacle.
Yeah.
Um, I think, and maybe also with that, you are getting, you've started to see a few people who have this like sense of wonder, this obsession. But with Elmo here, it's something even a little more. It's like the sheer confidence coming off of him. Like his canon isn't real, but the way he's talking about it, he almost seems to believe that this is what a canon is and that this is absolutely going to work. And yeah, that the sort of sense of confidence coming off of him is palpable.
Okay. Elmo Pazzo. Um, I'm Carrie. This is my friend. She sort of grimaces as she thinks up a name for Lucas. Oh, he doesn't need a name for now. But I can't help but notice that you got your cannon and you've got you, but you need two people for that act, don't you? You need someone to shoot out of it.
It's
I'm
like
your cannonball. Carry the cannonball. It works.
that does work. Okay. Yeah, yeah. No, I mean normally that's the part I was wondering about because you have to get a volunteer and I know how the canon works, but I don't know how people agree. Some people might be afraid, but you seem like you could handle it.
Yeah,
And Lucas is like, I don't need a name. I'm the mystery man. Um, yeah.
yeah, Elmo. Carrie and the Mystery Man were fearless. And The mystery man is kind of like our hype man for the act. He's good.
Yeah.
Takes payment in cigarettes.
This is wonderful. Yeah, and to give a little bit more description of the inside this tent. Um, I guess it's also a question of how much you choose to look deeper into the tent, but it seems already impossibly big as you go inside. There are these, you're kind of having this furtive conversation behind these rows of wooden bleachers, and you kind of hear the distant sounds of a couple like performers practicing, kind of warming up, some like acrobats and tumblers, some other animals in the distance, and it's mostly dark in here. There's maybe some hanging lanterns here and there. But at the center of the ring, it just seems to be darker than ever. It almost feels like this source of starlight, sort of undefined space. And it's just a little confusing from here. The light kind of shifts and changes. It's like maybe there's a curtain covering something. Maybe it's some trick of the light. But it is sparkling like velvet night, stars in the depths. It's rippling like an ocean folded on itself. And it's wonderful, and it never stops moving. And we'll come back to that. I don't know how much of that you may have picked up yet, but that is the center of the tent. Great. Our other custodians, could you remind me where you're approaching next? Oh,
We're also
you're
headed
going
to the tent.
That's right.
Yeah. We're
Excellent.
we're all going there. We're all gonna hang out. Woo! Have a great time.
I think as you're walking up, there is, let's see, you see someone kind of walking up on stilts, dressed kind of oddly in this like fox hunting garb. These boots that are, I just said stilts and I said boots, but over the stilts, there are tall boots, a whip in hand, coat with tails, and white hair, and kind of this warm grandparents sort of demeanor, and is sort of tossing hard candy to children, kind of trying to surprise people and laughing if they don't catch it, and just kind of hyping people up, giving out, looks like tickets for different acts. And just says like, who here likes candy? Here, catch, and just like actually quite forcefully throws some candy at Zeph. Do you attempt to catch it?
Not at all. In fact, just deadpan lets it hits him in the forehead. Just
Yeah, hits
does
you
not
right in the
try to
forehead.
catch it, and just looks
Yeah.
like not amused at getting shit thrown at him. He's like,
Says okay, or if you don't, you can always give it to a kid. Most people like candy. You here for the show, folks? Just get in line, get your tickets.
do we need tickets to go in there, or can we just go?
Well, if you want to participate in any of the contests, there's a little contest for the early entry. Folks can just follow me, and gonna make a little parade around the tent.
What's the contest about?
Actually, Gabriel does not know what the contest is about. I'm gonna say it's probably something dangerous. It's probably like, well, it's up to you. We just want to show folks that anyone with a little practice and the right spirit can join the circus too. That this sort of fun is for everyone, and we've got axe juggling, we've got the human tower. Of course, these aren't the full versions. We're just doing small ones, just for fun, just a little fun and games. Got the high wire trapeze. Of course, not as high as in the tent. It's kind of a medium size one, but take your pick, really.
My pick is not to engage.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, do we have to? Can we just watch? Is that an option?
Sure, well, I mean, this is if you want to get in early. It's just a contest, and other
Oh.
kids wanting it. It's like, oh, you are absolutely. No, you don't need a seat. Go for it. Go for it. All right, everyone, give him a round of applause. And you see some kids start to climb up to some like high wire. So well, otherwise, of course, if you want to just get in line, and points to a long line, there's tickets. Tickets for full admission. No problem. That's not for everyone.
Zeph, a word.
Yes. Yeah, of course. Yes. Thank you so much. And he like gets over like
Mhm.
away from the crowd.
Can I admit something to you?
Of course.
I don't get it.
What?
Is there something wrong with me? Like it's not clever and it's not actually funny. It's just sort of noisy and colourful and in your face. Like, do people really find this fun? Is there really a sense of wonder?
I think some people do. I kind of get it. I don't think there's anything wrong with you. I think maybe you're seeing it for what it really is.
And then they make you participate, and you have to join in. You have to be jolly and fun, just like them.
That's
I
the
don't
trick.
think I like it here.
I'm not sure I like it here either. I understand what they're doing. I understand there's no responsibility here, and I think that's the allure. But it's kind of empty. It's like cotton candy. It just dissolves if you look at it too long, if you touch it too much.
It's beautifully put, Zeph.
Oh. But no, I think
I was thinking,
go
on, sorry.
ahead. No, please go.
I was just going to say, if we kicked over his stilts and ran away, that would be funny. But they don't seem to go for that.
Oh, I think you'd make a great clown at that rate.
I appreciate that. All right. So what are we going to do? I don't.
No
This
idea.
contest seems rather dubious.
Not the contest.
We can,
not the contest.
perhaps the midway, the stalls might be a little bit more normal. Some vendors, some traders we could talk to, some normal people.
I don't think there's any normal people here. I think that people who are normal that are here don't stay normal. I don't think that we're going to get anywhere by participating. I think we need to go around it. Around all of the lines and the lights. I think if we circumvent it, then we won't get caught up in whatever weird shit they're trying to make us do. Because I think you remember the kid that we talked to? That's what that high wire thing, that's what they were doing.
Right. I mean, the carnies must have camper vans, right? There must be a lot out back where they sleep.
Oh.
Maybe if there's an office there's somewhere we could sneak into, do some investigating.
I like that idea. I forgot they had to sleep and live somewhere.
I hope they have to sleep.
We'll find out. We'll find out if there's an office and beds.
You hear this shriek, and you kind of glance. You get the impression of someone falling from a great height, and then suddenly they bounce back up, and you see there's a pair of circus goers had run over with like one of those blankets or like a trampoline kind of thing. It's like almost. See, practice makes perfect, children. It's just that easy. And kind of terrified child is kind of caught and set down and like, well done, and you win. Handing him some large stuffed animal, probably.
Oh God. Oh, good God. Okay.
And you can pass on to the. So you're looking for like a trailer somewhere in the back to.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah. I think if you kind of step away from some of the chaos a little bit, you do see because we described this large lot in the mall. I think there are a couple parked vehicles, but among them are it's like an old school bus, and then other trailers that look like they've been towed but kind of parked behind some. It's not much of a fence, but is sort of a basic easily scalable fence if you were to. And you see an odd, circus employee or two. One is just kind of smoking. One is, it looks like they're not an official performer, but they're trying to learn to juggle and failing repeatedly. They're kind of tossing a thing or two up and it falls down. Pick it up, kind of go back to it, just trying to amuse themselves.
Do they notice us?
Yeah, no, they're easy to avoid. There's not too many of them around.
Sick.
Yeah.
I think Zeph like takes off his jacket and like puts it over the top of the chain link fence, like it's like this is something they do all the time, and it's just like, come on, let's go.
John's background is perfect here.
That's so perfect.
Racer wire. Yeah. And so you're looking for a trailer specifically?
Yeah, or like an office or somewhere, obviously, where there might be paperwork or
let's
evidence
show more like what's actually going on here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You I think either one of those, if you walk up to one of those trailers, there's a sign on the front that just says like circus personnel only, keep out, that kind of thing on the front, just like tacked on the front.
Exactly what we're looking for. So
yeah. What's your approach? Yeah,
go ahead.
Go for it.
Zeph's like, okay, so do you want one of us to sneak in and the other one to stand watch, or?
I think that sounds like an excellent idea.
All right.
Which of us can more easily pass for a member of circus staff, and I won't be offended by your answer?
I think I'm actually going to pass that to Merriweather. Which do you think of these two absolute clowns could pass for an actual clown?
Oh my gosh.
It's tough.
It's a tough thing. It's tough nut to crack.
I think Dr. Quick, if he does the sad clown shtick, like a Pagliacci kind of vibe.
Like a Pagliacci.
I think he could do it. I see it. I see the vision.
I do see it. I see the vision.
I know I said, Zeph, that I wouldn't be offended, but my feelings are actually quite hurt. I'm going to use that. Okay.
Yes. Use that as motivation. I think it's take it as a compliment. I mean, it's you have range.
Fine. Okay. So I will stand outside, and if anyone asks, I will say I am keeping watch because I am a sad clown.
Nice.
Work on it. Yes, work on that. But yes, that general vibe.
Mm-hmm. All right. Good luck. If there's anything in there that you can't deal with, of course, just yell and I'll come in and help.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
Okay. Dr. Giggles. Dr. Giggles. Dr. Giggles, the funny clown.
Oh, it's sad already. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll just post it in the chat. The Pagliacci joke, but the doctor is the clown.
Mm-hmm.
And I just needed the viewers to hear that because it's very good for me.
We'll cut back to Zeph approaching the trailer or whatever. Knocking, are you like trying to say hello? You're trying to like sneak in unnoticed? Is that more the vibe?
Oh, I'm sneaking in and I am not saying hello.
Okay.
I am like, I'm gonna look in the windows to see if there's anybody in there, if I can, and see if it's unlocked. Do the whole thing like he's clearly broken into buildings before.
Sure.
Like,
let's do the roll there, and then we'll cut back. Yeah, I think this could be focus probably if you're being sneaky and keeping it together.
Rolling with my new dice. We'll see if they betray me. That's a 7.
Okay. Yeah. With a 7, any windows they're covered. It looks just kind of like circus fabric curtains, like maybe they just put up pieces so you can't really see in through there. But if you're kind of like getting up close, you do hear a very faint, just kind of like sound, almost like piece of popcorn or like a muffled like balloon popping kind of strange sound. And
Well,
we'll
that
come
won't
back to that.
deter me. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll
Oh
come back to
God.
whatever's going on. Let's see what's happening with Merriweather and Lucas here, and then we'll probably do a break in a little bit here. Yeah, you're in the middle of the tent. It's kind of a strange scene. But yeah, Elmo is sort of like, I think if you want to kind of pursue that act, you can kind of set that up and talk about it, or you can kind of stroll around a little bit more.
Yeah, I think Merriweather had kind of just been saying all this stuff to the guy about the act as like an excuse to be here,
Yeah.
but when she looks up and sees the stars and this beautiful like sight, it's like suddenly she believes in the act. She believes in that canon as much as Elmo does, and she's gonna fucking do it.
Awesome.
So she like with a new fervor, she asks Elmo, okay, so where do we go to try out?
Goes, oh, I wasn't, I cut the line. I don't need to try out. They're not going to let those people in, really. I just want to go do the act, and they'll see how awesome we are. I think we're good. We just need to get in front of an audience, and then once they see the response, I think we'll be in.
Okay.
They want that initiative. That's what I hear. You got to just really go for it, be bold. And then he starts looking, and he's like, I think, and I think there's like different stands where like trapeze swingers would go from. You can see there's probably some like net that's further up. He starts like looking for places to launch the cannon from. He's like, I think we should go to maybe one of those platforms. And there's the net there, so you could kind of land in the net.
All right,
I
yeah.
don't know how far this thing shoots though, so maybe you'll just go across the other platform entirely.
Well, I guess we'll find out. This seems perfectly safe, and I don't think we need a rehearsal.
Even Lucas for a second is kind of gives you a look. It's like, okay, so I'll announce you, I guess, when you're ready. And cool. And I think he picks up some from the ground and finds like some cape that someone has left, puts on this cape, and you can start heading towards a platform.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think Merriweather spends like a couple of minutes like jotting down a script for Lucas to
nice.
use when he's announcing. But yeah.
Yeah, that's fun. Yeah. Um, let's see. We can cut to, I think, because this is sort of like people are milling in, kind of gathering for the show, and it sounds like Elmo just wants to like go for it and perform his act, or interrupt the another act somehow. Um, I think there is. So this is a weird scene as you're approaching. It's kind of like some sort of seems like some theater. It looks like it's been set up to look like a funeral. In the middle of the stage, people have their makeup that's kind of like sad, almost like sad clowns, right? Like people like painted on tears, and they're kind of like doing this thing like they're crying. And the priest, the guy in the priest costume, starts to do this like, we're gathered here to celebrate, and then he's interrupted as the coffin opens and someone climbs out miming a mime, pretending to laugh, shakes the priest's hand, and then kind of like walks off. And he seems like flustered, like, what's happening? And the casket closes again. He starts up again, and this happens repeatedly. And the priest keeps getting frustrated as he's interrupted by seemingly this stream of like people popping up out of the casket. And that's kind of the act, and people laugh each time. And at some point, the casket, I think he goes over to like try to shut the lid. There's a bit of a struggle, and he's like pulled into the coffin, and it closes, and there's applause, and the act ends. So that's kind of a pre-show bit of weirdness that's happening below. But by that time, Elmo has arranged the cannon. I guess we're gonna say that it actually is big enough for you to climb inside if that's what you want to do. But we can see how this goes, unless there's anything else you want to do along the way.
Yeah, no, that sounds good. I think we see Merriweather like stuff the script into Lucas's hands, as well as the bloody microphone um that she
Yeah.
has in her altar that works
Nice.
even when not plugged in.
Great.
Um, and she says, "You're gonna do great. Just read exactly what's on that paper, okay?"
Okay. Got it. And into the microphone.
Yes, into the
Yeah.
microphone, please.
This sounds great. Um, do you want to trigger a move here, or I can?
Yeah, I was
Okay.
thinking it would be fun to trigger all the worlds a
Oh
stage
yeah,
here.
sounds good.
It won't be Merriweather reading the script aloud, but I can say what Lucas says.
That's fun. Yeah, I mean, we can the way we've set it up and how invested we've become in Lucas, we can say that getting a side character to participate can give you the +1 to the roll here.
Oh,
Um,
fun.
yeah, do you want to narrate it now or do you want to do that after our break? Can do
Um,
whatever.
I can do it now. That's fine.
Okay. Yeah.
So we see Merriweather climbing up onto the platform, and like when she gets up there, somehow she's suddenly in this like glittering trapeze artist type costume, and it's like totally it's like backless, so that like the prayer mark tattoo on her back, like between her shoulder blades, is like perfectly visible. And she'll, nod at Elmo and then nod down at Lucas. And Lucas unfurls the script and in his little kid voice, that I won't do because I very much do not have a child's voice. He says, "Ladies and gentlemen, gods and worms, I present to you the human cannonball. Will she come out intact? Will she be blown to smithereens? Will she rain down on you in meaty giblets and bucketfuls of blood? She doesn't know, and she doesn't care which. And we've invited all of you to watch, not as strangers, but as friends and family, to join her in discovering her fate. No matter what happens, you will leave here together, bound by the sight of the miracle of her success or the spectacle of her demise." And as this monologue is being said, like Merriweather is waving at the crowd, like smiling almost maniacally, and then finally takes a little bow and climbs into the cannon.
Wow, amazing. Um, John has pointed out because I'd forgotten. I think you have gotten Lucas as was it a follower or a side, like a reward? So he actually gives you advantage once a session. I had forgotten that, so it's even better um, than the +1. So I'll have the roll at advantage with presence, right? With this move.
Uh, yes, with
So right,
presence.
and I assume we're hoping to pull this off without anything bad happening. Was there anything more specific, or you get to tell us what you are changing about the world?
I think what I
Yeah.
would like is for Merriweather to get a glimpse of a niece while she's in the air, whether she's like in the audience or like is a
Mhm.
worker here. I think that would be fun.
Cool.
Especially with
Sorry.
what Lucas said about like friends and coming here
Oh
as
yeah,
friends and family. I think that's like the connection.
perfect. Niece, not cousin, right? Niece skeleton. Or
Yeah, because I think it was Nice on the flyer that
oh, okay. Right.
Merriweather saw before. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay.
But I think Merriweather thinks that cousin might be on his way to find Nice.
Oh,
Like
sure.
she's not
Yeah.
sure exactly, but uh,
Yeah,
all right.
sounds good.
Rolling with advantage. That's a 6.
Oh no. The 6. You and I want to make sure I actually look at the wording of the move. Was there anything, sorry, is there anything specific to the move on a failure? that I should remember?
Yes, I think there is. On a miss, your performance flops. The Watcher speaks from the shadows to narrate his favorite kind of story, instead, a tragedy that ends in blood. Um, oh, I don't have the condition of disappointment, so I guess I don't get
Okay.
killed on the spot. But I mean, if you want to kill me, I'm fine with
Uh,
that. I think it's fun, and I'll definitely mark it first. But
yeah, well, it'll be maybe less directly watch. I have an idea for it. I think with the miss, you climb into the cannon and you're kind of feeling maybe that sort of pre-performance excitement. You're feeling the power and the attention of this audience on Lucas, and he's really like getting into it. And on the inside, this cannon actually feels more solid. It's kind of like, is this becoming real? Is it actually a functional cannon? Things seem like they're going to go just fine. There's a sudden bang, and you this force, and you feel yourself propelled, and there's like glitter and confetti all around you in the air, and you're soaring out over this darkness of the tent, and you hear the applause of the crowd, and it keeps going, and it grows more faint and kind of fades away, and you are still just kind of floating in the air, like slow motion, gliding over this void. And as that like confetti falls away under you, you kind of see it drift away like stars, and you are swirling in this void, and the walls of the tent have just kind of drifted away, and you feel yourself just like drifting out of time. You don't know how far up you've gone, when you're going to come down, what direction you're going to come down. And I think with the miss, I think we'll say your fellow custodians might glimpse you at some other point floating above this circus, but they will never see you on the ground as they know you again. I think you sort of merge with the spectacle of Big Top here, unless you want to mark a verse.
that is so delicious. I think I will mark a verse, but I loved everything about that.
Excellent. That's fun. Cool. Instead of becoming some sort of circus saint, um, yeah, I'll think about the convocation and come back to you there. Do we want to do a break here or one more scene with the others? I'm cool either way.
I think that's a cool spot
Yeah.
just because that was really
Okay, yeah.
cinematic.
Great. Yeah, let's do our little break here. It's like 5-minute break, and we'll come back, pick up with the other custodians. All right. All right, let's get back to Zeph sneaking up to this trailer. Did you already roll? Or are we going? Okay. It was in the mid result, right? Perfect. Oh, it's right. I was saying there's some weird sounds. And I think
Yes. Horrible
as
popping sounds.
you're going up, there's that kind of popping sound, and the door just kind of like pops open, and you just see this like large, almost like a balloon of cloth, of just like, first impression you get is like polka dot pants. They're just like fully inflated, and then this like large clown shoe pops out, never pops out. And this just like almost like balloon like bloating, expanding body of a clown just kind of like tumbles out of the trailer right onto you.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, no.
I'm gonna give you a condition here, I think.
I think that's very fair.
Trying to think of what it is. I'm trying to think of the word. It's obviously about clowns. Colrophobia. I don't know what that is. What's
Colorophobia? That's a
Fear
phobia of clowns.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's good. That's good. I started thinking of the word of like extra storage, where you have like too many of a thing.
Oh God. Like clown car.
That's great. That's yeah. We'll say clown
God,
car.
I hate that.
And it's part of this scene too, as it kind of bowls you over, and you kind of like, I think then you see part of the sign that like the door kind of like flaps, as it says like, yeah, do not open, clown storage. And beyond in the door, there's just a whole wall of
clown
expanding,
storage.
bloating bodies of clowns.
Does it? I'm trying to think of a nice way to ask if this thing is sentient, like, or is it some sort of critter? Like, what is the vibe that I get from the clown that is like toppled on me? I've like tried to push it off. I don't know if it's heavy or not, but I want to get out from under this godforsaken thing.
Yeah, I think it like rolls
it a
off. It's not like
person?
super heavy. I think it is you just hear a bit of like as you can like shove it off, a bit of like a bit of like air going out. Unclear. You can look, you can try to figure this out, but that will be a different role, I think.
Yeah, I think that Zeph's first instinct is to like push it off and then be like, I'm so sorry. Like like when you apologize to a chair, like that you ran into, is kind of like just it's reflexive that he like he's like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to knock you. Oh, are you okay?
I should pause for a second because I realized before you were just looking for clues. So you do get a clue on this. I didn't really set it up as a, this will be probably the revelation move, but
oh god, yeah. Oh, certainly.
Yeah, I realized I skipped over that, so we need to give you a clue.
That's fair. I also forgot. I got so enamored with
I mean,
the clown storage.
Yeah, clown storage.
Clown storage. What?
I think. Yeah, I think the clue is just comically oversized pants.
Oh god, okay.
But specifically, I mean, yeah, it's very ambiguous. But I'm gonna say it's we'll say like self-inflating, maybe, because these just seem to be expanding.
Okay, so yeah. Okay, cool. I love that that's a clue.
Before we have you, yeah, you can ask that before we like engage that directly. I think Dr. Quick, what's going on with you? Do you observe this? Are you focusing on your act over there?
I think I was obviously keeping watch to make sure that no one comes and that I've got a good excuse for us being around. So I'm probably facing the other direction. Unless Zeph actually calls out, I'm probably not going to witness it, right?
And he doesn't. He doesn't. He's trying to be very discreet and is just sort of offended that this thing fell on him. Question mark?
Yeah, I think while you're keeping an eye out, I think you know, Dr. Quick, you see this is kind of the outskirts of the circus. And you see a couple folks approaching, and what the reason you notice them right away is, unlike a lot of the circus goers or performers who are kind of dressed in colorful things or like carrying prizes, these people are drab looking. They're dressed in overalls, and you see one of them carrying a bucket, one of them dragging a sack, one of them pushing the wheelbarrow. And based on your previous experience, you pretty quickly can tell these are approaching members of the Soil and Silence Committee. In fact, I think on the way you see one of them just like hurl a bucket of dirt at some like passing like someone who actually just put on like clown makeup, let's say, and it just sticks in a pattern where they put all their makeup, and they're just kind of standing there shocked and kind of like walk away in disbelief, trying to scrape off the dirt. And they're on the way. They're a little bit further down, but you do see them approaching.
Well, I think we're not in the fun bit of the circus. So I'm. Are they really coming this way? Just fuck off! Fuck off! What are you doing? Like, I'm visibly not having any fun being here. So I think maybe just kind of lurking behind the trailer. I'm hoping that I'm not going to attract their attention. There's so much else going on.
Yeah, that sounds fun. I think this will be the veiled move just to avoid too much attention coming your way. And I'm trying to remember, was that a condition from before, or have we dealt with that? No, you have something there, I thought.
Marked by soil.
Marked by soil. Yeah, I think that will be a disadvantage. Running into them again potentially.
Lovely.
Obviously, I mean, we have a sense of what could go wrong here, unless there's anything more specific you want to add.
Um, I mean, the threat of getting soil thrown on me is fairly minimal. So there has to be something a bit nastier here.
Yeah.
I imagine if they're approaching the clown storage, it's possible that the arrival of this kind of like very anti-circus group could provoke a bit of a confrontation between the circus and the committee.
Hmm.
So maybe,
Yeah.
there could be a bit of an outbreak of clown-based violence. I don't know what.
What a phrase. Yeah, love that. Yeah, it sounds like probably either focus or vitality if you're just kind of trying to move quickly and dart out of the way, but
And
disadvantage. Yeah.
yeah. +1 for either. So that is a 4, a 2, and a 2. So that's going to be 5.
All right. We'll come back to that. Combination of things going on there. And Elle reminded me at the end of the break that the move from the Watcher in the Wings has a built-in complication. So you usually get the condition a disappointment. But I think since you marked a verse, um, instead you do arc out. The cannon does fire. You do arc out over the crowd in that bit of glitter and confetti, but not nearly as high. And I think you get tangled in that sort of safety net that was there, and but it's like kind of a shoddy net, and I think you just end up kind of awkwardly dangled and hanging half upside down. Like you didn't really stick the landing, you didn't totally fall either, and you're just kind of in the way as I think another trapeze artist was getting ready to swing and like almost hits you. Now they're getting tangled in the net. There's like some boos from the crowd, and you hear an announcer says like, hold on a second folks, we're having a little bit of a hiccup here in our opening act, but not to worry. And you hear some other fanfare and they're trying to distract with some jugglers below or something, but you're there kind of tangled up. What do you do?
I think that part of the reason why Merriweather is taking so long to get untangled is that she is laughing, like this like pure joyous like raucous laughter. Like she just had the most fun she's had in so long, and she's laughing so hard that it like hurts, and she's like crying and she like can't even see. And so she's just kind of enveloped in this wave of emotion, um because this is like what it really feels like to perform. She realizes like she hasn't
Mhm.
been doing it for the joy of it for so long that this is just like such a relief. So it probably goes on like that for some time. Like somebody might
Mhm.
have to come up and untangle her themselves and get her down. Um, but she is like elated.
I love that. um I think you kind of overhear some sort of applause and some other hear a voice talking to Elmo, and just like, now you made that yourself. Is impressive. Well, I do think there is a chance you could perform. In fact, why don't you talk to our recruiter over here and we'll get you set up. This could be, a good spectacle for the causeway. Folks love to see get a little taste of what's under the tent, and I think your cannon would be perfect. We could shoot prizes out of it. Children could practice for the big thing, so Elmo's doing great with this cannon, and someone pretty quickly like sets up a ladder under you and like starts to untangle you. Quite quickly, actually, you notice that this person, you see these kind of soft bulging eyes that are alert, kind of like smiling bemusedly up at you, and just says like, "Oh, not to worry, friend, we'll get you sorted out," and kind of quickly untangles the net and gives you a hand, gloved hand down onto this circus ladder. And they have like a patched coat. Um, Looks like a lot of pockets is maybe part of whatever their act is. And says like, that was not bad for a first try. I'd recommend you start a bit smaller though next time. We build up to these things. Um,
Smaller. No way. This is the kind of thing you have to go big. Big as you can.
Well, we do admire your quite brave of you, quite quite bold. We do love that here. I'm Lash, by the way, Lash Laprise. I'd love for you to stick around for the rest of the show. We're just getting warmed up.
You know what? I think I'd like that.
Well, wonderful. Why don't you just take a moment, get yourself together, and you got a little bit of a net there, and just kind of getting you back on your feet. And says, we are a couple folks short for one of our acts later. Do you think if you're interested, you could stand in? We just need a few volunteers. Nothing too special. And it doesn't have to be up on the platform. Be down here, more level.
Um, sure, yeah. Uh, but first, have you seen she'll describe Elmo, assuming that this person doesn't know Elmo's name.
Oh yeah. Sorry, you were saying niece skeleton.
Oh no, she's looking for Elmo now.
Oh, Elma. Oh yeah, yeah. And yes, oh, of course, that young man with the cannon. Yes, yes. You all worked together, and that was a good attempt. And you see he's nearby, and he's someone sweeping up this glitter and whatnot, and kind of talking about his cannon, and waves you over, and he's there, and Lucas is there. You'll have the option to kind of like sit on the side for now as the next act comes up. Or if you want to jump back in, we can have you do that as well.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Merriweather like runs over to Elmo and like barrels into his arms, like wraps her arms around him, just like
Mhm.
that was amazing. Thank you so
Like
much.
it
Thank
worked,
you.
right?
Are you
Yeah,
in? Did
I
it
am.
work?
It did. It totally worked. I knew it would.
Yeah, me
Just
too.
like the cannon I saw. You were great. I don't think the setup was very good here. That they took that net out of the way. It would have been fine. Um,
Absolutely. Their fault, not ours. Um, we make a really good team, Elmo.
yeah, and your friend Lucas, I think it really helps to have that speech, that opening speech. I think people get excited. People
Oh
Lucas is
shit,
there.
Lucas. Oh, is he there?
I think he's I don't know, what do we think? I feel like he's probably getting carried away. It's something else. I think I think he's managed to see he's kind of going off towards the side where there are like some kind of firework cannons that are maybe set up for some other part of the show where they just kind of shoot up little fireballs or little sparklers, and is seems to be mid-story talking about how he's pulled off plenty of explosions and knows all about how fireworks, even bigger things, just getting ready to spill all kinds of stuff about the custodians probably.
Merriweather takes a look at that and goes, he's fine. Let's watch the show.
Perfect. Let's cut back to the others for a second, and then we'll kind of see where Merriweather wants to go here. Okay, so we have a miss for Dr. Quick, and Zeph was getting ready to figure out what is going on with this clown situation here. Yeah, I think if you're not trying to get further away from this thing, if you're engaging with it or whatever, that will be the revelation move.
Yeah, I think
yeah.
I am engaging with it because it landed on me,
Yeah,
and getting far away, like this is what I came here to do, as
Yeah.
unpleasant as this is. I need to know if the
Sure.
clowns are people or not.
Yeah. What are you afraid could go wrong here?
I'm afraid it's not a people and it will try to consume me.
Is that to say how it's worse than that? I think the way it's worse than that is, very gently consume you. You'll just be kind of swallowed up in a clown shape. But then the next clowns that pop into existence will have your face.
Oh,
So.
illegal. That
Yeah.
is worse for Zeph. Okay,
Great.
that's
Yeah.
much worse.
You
So
can be
what do
famous.
we?
Yeah, I think communion or presence. If you were just trying to talk to it, we can go with presence.
It's 0 either way, bud.
Nice. All right.
We are I'm gonna see. Do I have any items?
I think your clown-based condition is gonna have to be a
Oh
disadvantage here,
God,
unfortunately.
yeah, huh? Yeah, I got a clown condition. Do I have anything that'll help me out?
Fun to see. Any moves?
That's what I was like.
Items or
Is
moves?
there anything? There's only one, and I'm only going to pull out Sacred Conduit if it tries to eat me. So we'll see.
Okay.
That's a 6.
Oh no.
That's a fail. Oopsies.
So I think, as did you say something? Did we get you saying anything to it, or just like, oh
Yeah, I think it's like he just kind of did the sort of the polite, like, oh, are you okay? I'm sorry. Like he just bumped into someone at the supermarket to try to gauge the situation.
Yeah. And it's this kind of weird thing where it doesn't fully give you like speech as an answer. It's kind of intonation. It's like, and it's almost a mirror of what we saw before, of that weird act of like the people popping up out of the coffin or the priest being pulled in, and it kind of reaches out a hand to pull you up, very soft, almost like an inflated one of those inflated like wavy like people. I don't know what they're called, but you see on
The inflatable tube men.
Yes. Yep.
Oh God. Oh,
kind of like
Jesus.
wobbles all around and kind of pulls you up almost into a big fluffy embrace, and you just kind of like sink into this weird mass of canvas and just soft pillowy clown shape, and it swallows up all around you. And then if anyone were watching from a distance, this clown kind of like wobbles and shudders, and from the other side, out of the back of its head, it shifts, and its back of its head now looks like a painted on version of Zeph. It reaches into the trailer and reaches and pulls another one out that has a matching face, and a chain of clowns proceeds to help themselves up out of the trailer.
That's horrific. I'm gonna mark a mask.
Sounds
Reverse,
fair.
rather.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna just do that. Just gonna mark the ashen circle real quick. I feel like that's appropriate.
Nice. I think what will be funny is instead, it does help you up, but in that sort of comic thing where it pulls you up too fast and you bounce into it and are launched away into the approaching Soil and Silence Committee. And bucket of glue tumbles. You're just like splat in the middle of this glue, and Dr. Quick's cover is completely blown, of course. And I think, yeah, even if you weren't trying to be funny here, they're just dour faces. They're just like, and just what is this? Some sort of clown camp? You think this is all a joke, don't you, people? And they are just gonna.
I'm gonna, as quickly as I can, grab some dirt and say,
I know John froze.
Oh no.
You are the true sinners here, brothers, for you are having far too much fun with this business. I'm going to try and throw some soil back in their faces.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah. I love that. I think just based on, we'll say based on your miss from before, this is just like a riot that's starting, and you can make rolls to see how that goes and what you can do about it. That sounds fun. Yeah. Are you sort of hoping to outdo them with their?
I'm hoping that they'll be shocked and kind of get very self-reflective about the fact that maybe actually they are having too much fun telling off other people they're having fun. And isn't this really a kind of act that they're putting on, a clown act with the buckets of glue and the soil? Isn't it very similar to what's actually, oh my God. I'm hoping to really provoke an existential nightmare.
That's great. Um,
that as a goal. Oh my
that's really
god.
fun. Yeah, I'm trying to think of how to like put this together. I think the door, I mean, as part of the mixed result of Zeph's roll before, I'm just gonna say the door to that shed is like has been popped open, and so like more of these clowns are gonna proceed to just kind of pop through. At this point, if it wasn't obvious, they're just like expanding and maybe multiplying, or maybe they were somehow all packed in there. So that's kind of part of the ongoing danger, I guess, of this situation is the area is going to become crowded with more and more of those clowns. Um, uh, yeah, and so I think we could treat this as a veiled move. Um, like we described, anything that you're worried could go wrong here. You could bump into more clowns. They could just get the better of you, cover you with more glue and soil, overwhelm you. I don't know. Maybe they would need to go further as set a real example. Um, that works for you. I think sounds like vitality, maybe, or presence. You can make an argument for.
Okay, and still disadvantage, I imagine, because I'm still marked. Or
Yeah, unless you want to
yeah,
mark any items or anything.
I think that's fair.
Or if you want to rope Zeph into this, we could kind of hand wave it and say that evens out the disadvantage, but you'll both be subject to the. You already kind of are in it. So.
I'm already in it, man. I'm
Yeah.
already covered in glue. Let's fucking go.
Do it.
It's not like Zeph won't back you up. He's like, yeah, get it. Yeah.
Yeah, let's try it. That's a 3 and a 4.
Okay. Mixed result. Love it. We'll come back to that. That sounds fun. Merriweather. So I like how it sounds like Lucas is you've gauged he's around other circus people. He might be able to hang. He's okay. Is there anything that you hope to do next while you're in the middle of the tent? Presumably you might be volunteered to join some other act.
Yeah. I think I think Merriweather keeps talking excitedly with Elmo for a bit, and like during the conversation she's like picking off different little pieces of glitter and confetti that are left over from the performance. And then at one point she like thinks she's picking off more confetti from her neck, and when she brings her hand in front of her face to see what she's got, it's actually um like a little slick of black oil, um which she takes as the sign of the Watcher's disappointment.
Hmm.
And I think like we see her face sort of fall, and then she'll look at Elmo, who she like now feels this bond with. They've like performed together. And she says, um, this is a weird question, but can I show you something?
Yeah, of course.
Hey, maybe let's go behind the tent, or just somewhere with not so many people.
Okay. Yeah, and I had some ideas how we could I think you're right. I think we need to go big. I think we could next time we can make this even bigger. He's chatting about the canon act, but he'll go with you.
Yeah, I think Merriweather's gonna like lead him to the nearest place that seems relatively quiet. I mean, it's circus, so that might be hard to find, but if you have a place you want to put us, that's
You
fine.
can probably be like behind some of the bleachers, or you could slip out of the tent again the way you got in if you want to.
Yeah, that works. We'll slip out. And I think she says, if we're going to be a double act, I figure you might as well really know who you're performing with.
Oh, are you famous or something? That's so cool.
No, nothing like that. But to start, my name's not really Carrie.
Oh, well, my name's not really Elmo. I thought it'd be a good act name, you know?
Oh, thank God.
It's Elmer.
Oh. Palpable disappointment on my
Yeah,
mother's
yeah,
face.
yeah, yeah.
And I think when she steps out of the tent, like she's suddenly back in her regular clothes again, with the leather
Mm.
jacket and the sunglasses. And she has her messenger bag with her, and she pulls out the camcorder that she carries everywhere. And we see her sort of rewind over things that she's recorded during the course of this campaign, back to like the first thing she ever recorded with it. Um, like somehow there's something about the camera that like it doesn't record over, it just like keeps going. Like this one tape like will last forever. Um, and we see that little town that worshipped the god of oil, I think it was. And she'll sort of press play and wordlessly hand the camcorder over to Elmer and just let him watch the ritual, um, watch this person, Merriweather's former lover, be like lowered into the oil and drowning, and at the last moment, screaming that he doesn't want to be a sacrifice after all. He doesn't want to do this. Mary, help, help. And Merriweather's entirely quiet, like while Elmer's watching the video and offers no commentary whatsoever. She's just like watching his face to see what he thinks.
Wow. What are you hoping to do? You trying to like just like get a reaction from him or gauge?
I do have a move.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
I haven't used it before, but I will read it now. Ba, ba, ba. At times, sorry, it's called Behind the Mask. At times, the watcher looks through your own eyes, laying unwelcome truths bare. You can always tell when a side character is lying or concealing something from you. Once per session, when you reveal an unwelcome truth about yourself to a side character, a secret you haven't told anyone, a personal weakness, a failure from your past, that side character is compelled to do the same. The secret revealed by the keeper counts as a clue for an active assignment.
Oh, that's cool. Awesome. Yeah. I think I'm gonna let you fill in how anything you want to here, but I think essentially he kind of takes this in and his sort of like enthusiasm kind of like his face falls a little bit for a second and so it's like, okay, I get it. I We've all had to make sacrifices to get where we are, right? And sometimes that's the only way forward. And not proud of it, but I didn't want to just be a farmer, you know. I want to move on. I want to be a star. I want to make something of myself. And they told me that if I kept bringing in other recruits, that I would always have a place. Um, and in fact, I could lead my own circus someday. But that's just the thing. You need to have an audience. You need the wonder to spread. And and it's look, I just want people to have a good time, right? I mean, that it's not a bad thing for people to be entertained. Everyone wants a break from the doldrums of their life back at home and their work. And he's kind of trying to talk himself, justify his position. But basically, he reveals he is a recruiter for the circus. He's actively trying to help its wonder spread and hook other people to come to the circus and keep it going and expanding. So he's not actually a new recruiter volunteer or anything.
Uh, I get it. Oh yeah, we all do what we have to do. Um, and Merriweather, I think, seems sort of deflated. Like this is the moment where like all of the like rekindling of her dreams of being, I don't know, famous or just,
Mhm.
performing for real. Kind of this is where the balloon pops.
Mhm.
Um, it's like he's not doing it for the joy of it. Is anyone really? Like, can
Mhm.
you? Can you make a living doing that? Um, and I think she says, well, you gave something to me today, Elmo, at least for a little bit. So, if recruits are what you need, I'll give you something back. How about that?
He seems, yeah, he'll accept that, but he almost seems, you see that like kind of deeper sadness for a moment where he's like he knows is what he has to do, but he kind of says like, I mean, you could do quite well for yourself too. It doesn't all have to be like that was fun, right? You have to keep innovating. You just have to find a way to go a little bit bigger the next time. And it's always going to be new to someone else. You I believed for a second you were already someone famous. You could be your own traveling act. So it could still be fun, right? He's kind of trying to hold on to like some bit of hope himself. But he will. What are you offering as far as recruits go?
Well, I think first Merriweather says like
Yeah.
it was fun, but like
Mhm.
emphasis on the was.
Yeah.
Um, but she's getting refocused. She's realizing like, oh, I came here for something. Jesus Christ. And I think what she will do for him is she'll like lead him back onto like out where like people are gathering and like watching, the acts that are happening outside, maybe like right next to that dancing dog. And she'll start doing like a kind of carnival barker thing where she is advertising their duo act or their trio act really with Lucas, although Lucas is God knows where. Um, and through this act, um, I think I'm basically using I don't remember what the move is called. He of Many Faces.
Mhm.
Um, she's going to Carnival Bark Carrie Weathers, the human cannonball, into existence. In part to like kind of pay Elmo back for like what she was able to experience for a little bit, but also in part so that there's some part of her that gets to enjoy the pure joy of performance for its own sake. Some part that she
Oh,
can
cool.
just leave behind in the circus.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great. Um, Maybe we'll include that as part of a end of session scene here if we see the actual Carrie doing that. Um, yeah, let's cut back to the others. Uh, this full-on riot is starting to happen. Um, Remind me where we left off there. We had a roll, right? We had a
A mixed success
mixed
on an
okay.
attempt to throw them off.
Yeah. I think one of these members of the Soil and Silence Committee here, she she's got white hair under a kerchief. She's got her apron and knee pads. Looks like she's just come straight from her garden. And next to her, kind of glowering, presumably her husband, has a face like a carved apple head doll and does not speak. Um, but she kind of just like is a little bit stunned, and kind of just says like, well, I don't know what to make of all this, honestly. I mean, I see the circus passes through. I suppose everyone pays the cost one way or another, pays their toll. The animals, the elephant manure makes the roses bloom. That's what my husband's got here. And now that you put it like that, well, it's probably better used to just fertilize our garden with. I was gonna throw it on someone, but that's just ridiculous, isn't it? She's the one who kind of like, that's the mixed result. You kind of stop her in her tracks for a moment. But then around you, all the other ones are just like, just, I don't know what they'd be screaming here, sort of like, back to work where we belong, get the circus out of our town. You're all a bunch of clowns, and then starting to like, of course, I think some of them charge at the weird balloon-like clowns, and there's that comical, like they're just like bounced off of it into each other, and this is kind of happening all around you, and this kind of, after that brief moment of introspection, this kind of riot ensues. Zeph, how are you? You gotta like peel yourself up from the ground. You think you fell in a pile of glue?
Yeah, I'm
glue.
covered in glue.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Huh.
I have a very small monogrammed handkerchief.
Thank you so much. That's God, these people. Ugh. What is wrong with them?
I don't know. I don't think they appreciate the irony of their situation.
I really don't. You know what? I thought they would for a second. I really thought that would work. It's a shame, really. Because now I'm sticky. So
some dirt claws just like hit you as you're talking, and you two are.
Oh my god. Okay. All right. When the
this
clown
was a
sheds
bust, wasn't it?
It's a real
bust.
Yeah. It's a bust.
Okay.
There's just clowns in there, and I don't know what's wrong with them, but they're not people. And I frankly don't want to get any closer than I have to. Again, wouldn't
That's
recommend
very
it.
reasonable.
Wouldn't recommend it. It's their problem now.
Yes. Let them deal with it.
Yeah. Maybe they can get thrown around out here. God. Okay, maybe we should just find Merriweather and reconvene or something. I don't know.
I think that might be a sensible suggestion. Hopefully she's found more in the way of actual evidence that could lead us to some kind of conclusion.
I hope she has. This is I mean, no pun intended. This is fucking clownery. This is ridiculous.
I think in the background, you see one of these dour gardener folk has been kind of like sandwiched between two clowns, and they kind of like, as they bounce off each other, they kind of stand back stunned, and then they kind of like grin, and they like pick up the glue, and they start like looking at the clowns and like painting their face with glue and like dabbing on dirt and like attempting to do clown makeup. And they're just like grinning like an idiot and joining the side of the clowns and going and running into their companions to like bounce into them. Slapstick comedy sort of fights happening.
Yeah.
I guess the good news is we may not have to worry about the Committee of Soil and Silence for much longer. It seems like they're all being converted.
I'm not sure that's a good thing.
Not for anyone who's lingering here, certainly. Come on, let's be quick.
And now Zeph is like more purposely scraping stuff off of his face. He's like, nope. We're not doing clown makeup. We're not doing anything. I'm not doing the mud people. Nothing.
You all can meet up somewhere, or I'll point out we do have 6 clues. I'm not sure if how they all fit together, but you are making progress towards either one of those approaches. If you want to like think about answering a question, or we want to look for a few more clues? Can if you want to head towards the tent where you originally were going, you can catch up with Merriweather because she's out front now, so that's pretty easy.
Oh, thank goodness. Like, yeah, you see
Yeah.
these two goobers walking up, and Zeph's still like kind of like
Yeah.
wiping, like very clearly wiping glue and dirt off of himself.
Mhm.
Hello, Merriweather. Have you had more success than we did?
I think Merriweather is like mid-sentence shouting about the human cannonball.
Huh.
Oh, sorry. Elmo, give me a second. Long story. I kind of lost myself there. I don't know that I found anything useful.
Are
Oh,
you all right?
Are you? Merriweather's looking Zeph up and down.
Don't worry about it. It's fine. I am doing. Where's Lucas anyway? Where's. Don't worry about me. Where's Lucas?
Oh, he's in the tent with the circus people.
By himself.
He's one of them now.
Let's look over to Doctor quick. Like,
I think perhaps we need to have a conversation, the three of us, about what we do about all of this. We can attempt to destroy the circus, which might, on balance, be the more sensible approach, seeing as what we've seen it doing to people, or we can try and control it, ensure that its psychological impact is more limited. People aren't losing control of themselves, as we've seen. So, what do we think? Do we let it be, or do we eradicate?
I don't think it's safe, but I think we need to make sure Lucas is safe before we. It. So he's not collateral.
Makes sense. Any
Because if
thoughts,
he is,
Merriweather?
you know.
You seem pretty close with Elmo.
Who's this?
His real name's Elmer. It's worse.
Oh, that is worse.
I mean, yes, absolutely. Let's make sure Lucas is safe, but I don't think we should destroy the circus.
Fine.
It's
Hi.
yes,
hear-
it's dangerous, but it brings people joy. That's hard enough to come by, I think.
Let's just get Lucas first of all. We're just in here. You said, Lucas, where are you?
You glance in, and it is, as we've described earlier, much larger on the inside. This gleaming starlight, kind of weird something in the center, and bleachers and different looks like several different smaller acts are kind of happening around this tent. And one of them, you hear Lucas laughing and cheering and saying like, I'm flying, I'm really flying, and kind of you see him on with some kind of harness and some kind of wire, kind of like gliding around, and a few other circus folks in costumes are cheering for him. He's got this cape on. Looks like he's found a mask as well, like a long bird mask, and having a great time.
Okay, hello, hi. I'm a clown. I'm Dr. Giggles. I'm here to pick this young man up for his clown lessons, please. So if we could just stop all of this, Lucas, it's time to go.
It's like they're like letting the wires coming down as some other act comes up, and it's like, but you should come perform with us, Merriweather. It was so Merriweather flew out of a cannon. It was awesome, and I'm gonna help with the pyrotechnics later. I'm gonna use what Zeph showed me. Like, couldn't we just stay here a little bit longer? Like that kid who like doesn't want to go home yet.
we can stay once it's safe, but right now this place is dangerous. Okay? Bad things are happening. We just need to make sure we've got it under control before we can relax and enjoy ourselves. And I promise, Lucas, I promise that if we can deal with all of this, I'll do whatever you want. Okay? I'll join in. I'll participate. I'll take a custard pie to the face, whatever it takes. But that has to wait. Okay?
Okay. He'll come with you. And I think as you're kind of leaving, if you're kind of like surveying the tent, you happen to see where some of these wires are coming from, and you see much further up. We haven't really talked about how tall this tent is from the inside either, but you see other figures dangling from ropes, almost like maybe waiting to descend, or maybe they've been pulled up, but hanging inverted ropes wrapped around, almost like they're hanging in a spider web, their mouths and their arms and their limbs wrapped up in some kind of dangling ropes swaying from the ceiling. No one seems to be commenting on those or paying much attention.
Merriweather. Come on, Lucas. Merriweather, a philosophical conundrum for you. If a place brings people joy and then it kills those people, would you say that it's still worth keeping that place around?
I think Merriweather looks genuinely like stricken by that question. And then, ooh, how would she answer that? We've all got to die some way, right?
I don't think that gives institutions license to hypnotize and murder ordinary people, innocent people. We must go sometimes, but that doesn't give free rein to murderers, does it?
No, I guess it doesn't.
I'm glad to see this place means so much to you, Merriweather. I don't know what we're going to do to make this place safe. This is power. This is real divine power. This place has an energy all of its own. There is a great deal happening here, from inflatable pounds that eat people to constellations inside a tent, dark figures in the shadows. There's so much here. What can we do to keep this place running but make it safe? I genuinely don't know, and I'm looking to you.
I think Merriweather's mind is like flashing back to the video, to the times that she has sacrificed other people, metaphorically or otherwise, for her own happiness. And I think she'll concede here that the doctor is right. No, we have to destroy it. I know we do. I just thought I could convince you. I'm usually pretty persuasive.
Sounds like, are we leaning towards answering a question at this point?
I think so.
I think so.
Yeah. Let's see. So yeah, complexity 4. If well, I should step back. It sounds like we were last saying you should destroy it, which is complexity 4.
Mhm.
Okay, cool. Any thoughts on this strange mess of a circus? How it's most vulnerable, I guess.
We haven't found any Skelton yet, have we?
No, we haven't.
So maybe there's a location we haven't visited yet where the skeleton is being kept that could be the heart of the circus.
Oh, yeah, maybe there is this sort of like, because when you were talking, I was thinking, what else would it feed on other than lives, like human lives? And maybe it's like feeding on the wonder it's creating, like the sort of like self-replicating loop, like the clowns are. And maybe there's like this, like you said, like this center where these skeletons being kept, that is this sort of almost like a battery.
Could it be like a little museum, or maybe gift shop is a better framing for it, where they keep the people's faces on eggs, like for display and purchase, and it's like all of these faces
Yes.
of people who've come to the circus,
Mm.
their
I love
expression frozen in wonder for all of time.
Oh my God. Yes. Oh my gosh. Maybe
I
that's where
love
the
it.
dog will lead you, the little dog. It's like, like how
Mm.
cat that picture of a cat that has like a little sign on it that says follow me to the garage sale, but it's like the dog and it's like
In terms of what the weakness is, this is a bit out there, but
Yeah.
the stuffed lion then became the living lion.
hmm
Could it be that this is all much smaller than we realized it was, and that in Joy Ackerman's sad little bedroom there is a little model circus they were playing with that has come to life through the child's wonder into being this actual circus? Is it that they were the source of it all, the kid?
Oh my gosh. I
Wow.
love
Twilight Zone
that.
style.
That's wild.
Yes. Yes, like the cornfield boy.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I love that.
Yeah, that's really great.
That
So because it all sprang from, which yeah, it's been implied a lot of versions of like springing from, a small expanding and that kind of thing. So like if it all started from her imaginary circus, that's where it's most vulnerable,
he
Yeah,
or
like
because it's smaller.
maybe well, I guess I meant, maybe in the heart, in this place where the people's faces are in the center,
Mhm.
there's some way of connecting with the child, or I don't know. It's
Mhm.
kind of going like a voyage into the center of the mind rather than an actual location, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
fun.
That's fun. Yeah, I like how someone was talking about their expressions of wonder of all the people who've been there, and that's sort of captured.
Yeah.
Um, that's interesting. And then so how would that lead to killing the heart of the circus, or at least and preventing it from growing back? So how are we going to frame that? Like clearly it's become this bigger thing. What would keep it from from growing back again?
My first thought was this is terrible. We don't have to go with
Mm.
this, but make the child like watch us crush all of the eggs, like as a
Help
symbol of
me.
like
Wow. Yeah.
them having to leave their childhood behind and understanding that the adult world is
Oh my
not
God.
so nice as all of this.
That Elle, that's so
It's evil.
grim.
Yeah.
I think actually Zeph would like be like, actually, I love this circus. We can't do that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, if that's the case, we can't do that. We can't just crush the child's dreams.
Oh my God, I love that.
I
though.
told you
It's
it was
so-
terrible. Like,
this-
I'm not advocating for it.
That's so funny.
I'm like, the problem is that that's actually where my mind was going. I was like, I mean, destroy the toy, like destroy the model, crush it. That's terrible, but like that was also
It would work. Yeah.
or contain it like in a snow globe type thing, like like find a way to like
Contain it so it doesn't keep expanding.
contain it so it
somehow.
stops like self-replicating, or make it smaller, maybe not even just like that it's not self-replicating, but that it's tiny, like a sea monkey thing instead of like a whole ocean.
Yeah.
Could there be something with Joy's dad in there? Like, obviously,
Mhm.
if this is a world that Joy has created, maybe Ackerman, who we met earlier, is actually also trapped in here with us. Whether he has been transformed into a dog in a rough, or whether he is Elmo Pozzo, or whether he is in one of the eggs, is there some kind of like reconciliation of getting him to connect with his kid and realize, is there something there that's
There's something
more of a
there.
happy ending?
That's really
Yeah.
good. I like that.
Because we did in context, he was trying to like encourage her to like have her like circus at home and not run away, and like at least mention, I think, understanding that like, yeah, a kid needs to have fun and express themselves.
Yeah, I think there's something
So
there. Elle, were you gonna say something?
No.
That's some
just
challenging.
No, I think this is a great idea. I'm not sure yet how to build
Yeah,
on
how to
on
incorporate.
that. Yeah.
So like conceptual. So like I think like the comically oversized self-inflating pants is like I think we can use that as like it's self-replicating. It's like it's independently functioning now, and it can just keep making itself into more of these things, even if it's not like fully sentient. I really like the idea of Joy's dad being wrapped up in this somehow. And like, I like the idea of him being the dog or Elmo Pazzo, because I think that that's fascinating. Of like, does that mean we got to go get the kid? Does that mean we got to go get Joy, bring them here, and like have some sort of Spirited Away-esque like resolution? Like, I mean, it's fascinating. Or is it like niece, or like, are we gonna have to like get niece Skelton to like help us? Like, I feel like there's something there with that,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
like
niece
trying to connect the
Skelton,
dots. Sorry.
niece Skelton could also be a friend for Joy to play with, right? If Joy is lonely.
Oh my
Mhm.
gosh.
Yeah. As far as like a circuit that instead of the imaginary circus like growing into this bigger thing, if she got to have that at a smaller scale and like have other friends to play at circuses and stuff with.
Didn't we
We could say she's part of
establish
it.
that at the farm, the father has sort of a dinky, sad version of the circus, like kind of set up in
Yeah.
the
Yes.
backyard?
Yeah. She
Yes,
made
he
like her
did.
own tightrope and swing and stuff like that.
Could like making that actually nice and putting on like a little circus for Joy, like a real circus that's like healthy and not eating people. Could that be part of it? I don't know.
You
Yeah.
know,
I
I
love
also
that.
just realized I did something wrong before because you all rolled the first question and it was a miss. Um, I think that means those clues are still available.
Oh, wow.
Is that right?
I
Does
have
that
no
sound
idea.
right?
I cannot remember that rule at all.
I feel like that might help us with more context. Maybe they're all like interesting and weird, and
Mm-hmm.
nothing is like really pointing the way for you to. But I want to say
No,
that's how that works. If I'm wrong, it's whatever. I got it wrong.
it's
But
fine. I was You're the keeper. You can decide it's right. I really like that actually. I like the idea of it being like we're having to course correct this because it was from
mhm,
this child's mind,
mhm.
and some sort of divine power saw this or like sort of heard these wishes and like decided to take that and run with it to feed itself. And so we need to strip that idea away from whatever this divine power is, and then, you know, give it back to Joy.
Yeah.
What does everyone think of this sort of
Yeah,
energy?
I really dig it.
So like,
It works.
yeah, like Elmo Pazzo, like go ahead.
I was gonna say it sounds like more the way we're framing this is more about preventing the circus from growing back, because it sounds like, I mean, it almost sounds like the approach is a combination of these two in a way, because you're like, I don't know, you're not like destroying the kid's imagination, but maybe you're altering whatever this circus thing is in a way that it isn't this self. Could it be that it's not a self-replicating thing anymore? That it can stay contained in this yard somehow, or it can be just a single local thing?
Yeah, I think
I
we
could
need
see
to
that if you
yeah.
incorporated some of these other scraps of things that you found, um, maybe you could like assemble a version of the circus that doesn't do that.
Yeah, because like the enormous stuffed animal lion, like it's a
Mhm.
smaller thing. Like I think it was Elle who said it's like a toy, you know,
Mhm.
like that clue being used to be like, okay, we're gonna make it smaller into what it originally was, you know.
Mhm.
I like the idea of the heart of this being in some sort of fucked up gift shop with
Mhm.
egg faces. I really think that's cool. Maybe Niece is there. I feel like we need to work her in somehow.
That's fun. I'm open to, because this is you all putting them together and painting the scene here. So like that was a clue. So I mean, is Niece running this shop? Is Niece become a fixture of the circus, or you know, because people have sort of gotten swept up. So I think it's one solution could be that you find her and she's been swept up in this.
Yeah, I
That could be
like
interesting.
that.
Hmm.
I do feel like we probably should work her in.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
was trying to do that this session, but then I went fully off piste. So
Yeah,
No, it was
that
great.
was
It was great.
perfect. You got Elmo Pazzo in there for us and did a really cool thing. I love that. Like, I also the dog. I don't know. Are we taking the dog home to Joy? Are we gonna give the kid the dog? Like, here's a dog, and here is also niece skeleton. I don't know. Have fun.
The dog's definitely safer sounding as far as like a circus animal that you could be like, look, it's a dog that dances.
It's a dancing dog.
Mhm. So you
yeah,
bring her the
I
dancing
like giving her
dog.
the dog.
What a, what about Elmo Pazzo being this recruiter? Um,
It's interesting.
or clearly someone who is swept up in the wonder of the circus.
if if the dog is the dad or if the dog is just a dog, Pozzo does sound like it could be a teddy bear's name. Could it be Joy's kind of beloved childhood toy? Is of course at the heart of her game, and so that's why he was sort of lying about having. He's new, but he's been doing this for a long time.
Okay.
I love that. So he's like a teddy bear, like Cinderella style, brought to life.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I
I
love that.
That's
That's
fun.
great. That also explains like the deal with him in the canon, like his willingness to engage in that bit of make believe is because he's like a toy that
Mhm.
came to life. That
Yeah.
fits perfectly. Yeah.
Oh my
He didn't
god.
have any doubt that his cannon was a real cannon.
Yeah, maybe everything here is a toy. Like the enormous stuffed lion turning into a lion. Like maybe every thing here we see is some sort of toy that's been given a divine spark. And it's like whatever has provided this divine spark is hungry and using that to fuel this self-replication.
Yeah, I like this, and incorporating the clues from the original question that was wrong. So we still have the path through the woods with the crushed
Mhm.
trees. I mean, that's maybe how this. I mean, you went to this location where the circus had expanded to. That could be pretty straightforward. You
Yeah.
also have that scrap of striped canvas, scab with blood, that tightrope that led you into the circus, and there's that child's drawing,
Mhm.
which I think you found in Joy's room. Is that right?
Yes.
That could just be part of her like imagination as we've described it, of herself next
Absolutely.
to the tent.
And I think the
Um,
tightrope kind of does that too, actually, like, because it was her tightrope, like that she had, and then it inexplicably led to the circus, like Narnia style. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that could be it.
Mm-hmm. It's almost sounding like the heart of the circus is basically her. Uh,
Yeah, and instead of like destroying a child, we're going to
yeah.
actually just sort of like contain a
Mhm.
thing that's kind of went off the rails.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I think the trees kind of explain themselves. Any thoughts about this canvas?
I have some, but I don't want to like just sort of blather.
No, go for it.
Yeah, I want to hear your thoughts.
I think it's like a conceptually that this is kind of where it like went wrong. Like this is a sign that something else, something hungrier, something more dangerous has taken a hold of this child's imagination, like land, whatever the hell that she's made, like has taken it and is using it to eat. Like that's why it's there. Like maybe this canvas was part of Joy's like little thing, and this was the first sign that something had went terribly wrong.
Mm.
That's funny foreshadowing of the lion later and that sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like the lion.
You did find that at her near her swing or whatever, near her own circus. So
Yeah, we did.
we can include that. Yeah,
Oh
I
my
think
gosh.
we've steered this in an interesting direction. We've gathered a lot of like disparate clues, but I think it's really cool. Any other thoughts? Are we feeling like these connect? Um, yeah, if you sort of corral the circus back where it was, prevent it from growing, and maybe it actually becomes a sustainable. Like, there's been a lot of people that were swept up in this. That clearly there was a need for this kind of thing. So maybe this is a way that could actually work without continuing to grow and swallow people. Could just be like a roadside attraction.
I love it.
All those clues, that ends up being +6. We have explained all of them. So I don't think you can technically fail this. It's just let's see how well it goes. Whoever wants to roll it.
I think Merriweather should roll it because
Yeah.
she was a part of the circus the most.
Do you remember what happened last time I did one of these rolls?
Okay, yeah, but now you got a +6.
It's
so
true. It's true. All right. That's an 11.
All right. There you go. I think with a full success, yeah, I think like we've done before, we can pretty much do this in montage form. I think if we want to cut forward a little bit, it probably takes a little bit of time. There's some cleaning up, obviously, not just the glue spillage, but yeah, just this carnage in the landscape of that this carnival has wrought, and take some time for people to kind of like unwind and calm down from all the effects of this wonder and come back to earth a little bit. But maybe if we cut forward, I don't know, a few days or a week or whatever, several weeks it might be. Maybe each of you could think about how you contribute to this. How do you help bring this to like a safe and sustainable form, and just give us a scene or a moment of your custodian helping out. I guess there's also a question of Lucas too. It sounds like there was a lot of back and forth discussion of like, at some point, is he going to stay with us? So I'm curious if Lucas is staying here at this point or if he's continuing with you.
Those are all very good questions. I think before Lucas is handled in terms of how we're, I guess, parenting him, at this point, we're all parenting him together, but I think Zeph sort of volunteers to do like the technical work of it. Like he can shut down all of the machines if need be and kind of get it wrangled like essentially doing perimeter work, like not being the person who's like going to like actually interact with Joy or help in that regard so much as like he can like do the technical aspects. He can get, does she need a Ferris wheel in her yard? We can get that there. Like, do I need to shut down the whole carnival so we can, I don't know, exterminate the clowns for a second, like shoo them off? You know, whatever that. I think that that's kind of where he stands on this fake lion wrangling.
Mm-hmm. And also what mechanical parts are real and like where the line is there, you know, what
Exactly.
grew
Like,
and replicated and what was maybe just some basic equipment. Yeah.
imagine at one point it's like a ride and he expects to have to shut it down and then it just like it's cardboard and paper mache and it just breaks under his hand and he's like, all right, okay. Cool, cool, cool,
Yeah.
cool, 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 cool.
Mm-hmm. Who's next? Having a mute off.
Yeah. I think Merriweather will take on the planning of whatever inaugural performance we're going to do for this new and improved circus in Joy's backyard that is safe for people to engage with. So she plans out the show. She insists that all of the custodians participate. So she'll probably have Dr. Quick reprise his clownery. Um, maybe Zeph does a little thing with the dog. I don't know. What do you
Oh my
think?
god, I love
Mhm,
that. I love the idea that he's doing a dog act. Like this is he's so out of his depth, but he's trying his best.
mhm.
Dr. Quick is definitely going to supervise a clown act, and he's going to get in fellow clowns. Everyone knows that, you know, clowns are only really funny when they're pretending to be serious.
Mhm.
So when the show takes place, it will be not just Dr. Giggles, but Ackerman wearing giant inflatable trousers, and the members of the Soil and Silence Committee, all with those sad clown expressions, no longer flinging dirt, but mud pies at each other, buckets of white gunk, which obviously get kind of left onto the doors and then fall down on them. All of them having an absolutely terrible time as they get splattered with stuff, or to try and just make Joy laugh. And I imagine Lucas, and if niece Skelton is there as well watching, then yeah, it's for the kids.
I love that.
I kind of imagine Nice and Merriweather acting as almost like twin ringmasters. Is that the word that I'm looking for? So they're
Mhm.
wearing like these matching kind of like suit and tail sort of things. And they're doing a whole like double act looking identical because they are.
That's so perfect. I think Zeph actually gets into it at one point. Like at first he's like really like, I'm in front of people. This is weird. And then when he sees that like Lucas and Joy are like actually enjoying themselves, he's like, all right, let's go. Whole just like absolutely in it to win it. Like is doing whatever Niece and Merriweather ask of him to make this weird little backyard circus pretty cool actually for what it is. It's pretty impressive, I think, at the end of the day. And I think as we do it, I think like in the distance you see the other circus sort of just start to like melt like
Hmm.
wet cotton candy.
Yeah, and I love the way the former Soil and Silence Committee um, become actual clowns. Yeah, as Elle said in the chat, it's like the first time the custodians are doing something actually good here. And I think the difference, the shift that you notice over time, or once this kind of gets going, is that people are drawn to this as an attraction, but instead of being swept up and trying to go elsewhere, you see there's like neighbors from the neighboring farm will kind of show up and bring other pieces of equipment they weren't using, or one of them is sort of like, they have I don't know, one too many donkeys, or like they're bringing things to like help add to the circus, and this becomes this community collaboration without it getting it's not the same level of obsession. It's more encouragement, and kind of, yeah, community actually coming together here. This is actually what the custodians are supposed to be doing. Well done. I think
We
I had
did
one.
it.
Yeah, no, you actually, it took a while. There's some learning, bit of a learning curve there. I think it was Lucas helping you find your childlike wonder. I think, and maybe it's the last day before you're getting ready to, I don't know, pack up, get back to your other work, and I think you're watching this kind of like backyard show happening, and Merriweather, you see another younger child in the audience, perching on top of like a wheelbarrow, just kind of climbing around. Just sorry, it's been a while since we've seen Cousin Skeleton, but you see Cousin Skeleton has found his way and spots you and comes up to you, and after the show's over just says, I'm so good to see you again. I'm sorry that I led you on a bit of a chase there, but I need your help. I figured out where they're being taken. I'm going to drop a conspiracy clue here. And Cousin Skeleton says, we're on these farmlands, but there are military trucks that drive by. I hopped on one of them. I saw the circus lights. I got off, but they were heading towards these hills. They took the rest of the family, and I don't know what they're planning to do, but we need to go find them. And you were reunited with Cousin. Sorry, you're just always going to have young followers, I suppose. Go ahead, Elle, if you wanted to chime in. Sorry.
Oh no. I think Merriweather will tell him that there's like one last thing that she has to take care of. And she understands if he can't wait, but she will meet him there. And I don't know what level of technology we're working with. Like, I don't think we have cell phones or anything like that, do we?
I don't know. We've really established that we can just be lazy and ask John. But
yeah, John.
Save us, John.
It's our game. If we want there to be cell phones, there are cell phones.
The way I tried to put it in the game text is like you decide, but sort of like, what does that imply? So if there's cell phones, what are the signal towers about? But yeah, totally, we can say there's a mobile phone.
Yeah, Merriweather for some reason has like multiple phones, like 3 or 4 of them, like an unreasonable number of phones, and she gives one to Cousin, and says that she'll call him when it's time.
Nice. Amazing. We solved an assignment. We just have a few minutes here. Let's do stars and wishes, and then see where we're at time-wise. If anyone needs to go, we can end it and catch up on rewards and stuff later. If you want to stick around a few more, we can do that too. Yeah, who's got some stars and wishes?
I do. I always do. Just because everyone here is so fabulous. Oh my goodness, everyone. Just delightful, horrible, awful. Gabriel, thank you for running, I would say, the weirdest session I've ever done. And that's saying something. But this is definitely up there with how weird it is. It was really awesome. I loved your like yes-anding of how bizarre it got. And I love the way you did. The clowns were unsettling, like the noise, like the noises you made for them were very good. I liked that a lot. I liked how you kept incorporating the Soil and Silence Committee. That was it, because they could have easily been forgotten. They could have just been like, over there, they tormented Dr. Quick once and they're gone. Like, no, you were like, no, they're a real problem and they're gonna come back. and also continue to be a problem. And I really liked that. I really liked just the whole dynamic. It was like always on the edge of like being easy to get caught up in why this place is good. Like you did a very good job of presenting that. It was absolutely delicious. And Elle, I think you like getting to see a player character who was like fully into it, and especially a follower of the Watcher in the Wings. That's like, this is so perfect. It's so perfect. And like, I love her. I love everything. Sometimes you say some shit that's a little too real as a performer, and I'm like, I've been slain. It's absolutely amazing. I really love her whole thing. I love that she just went like, yeah, Lucas is fine. I got shot out of a fucking cannon and it was awesome. Like, that's such a cool approach to this entire assignment, and I really, really loved it. I love the twin act with Nice and Merriweather too. That's delicious. I love that that's just like, we haven't seen one of her doubles yet in the same room as her, and that was just for everyone to see the whole time, and we're all just like, yeah, I guess this is what's happening. I guess this is fine. So that was absolutely just utterly delightful. Utterly delightful. And John, I I love Dr. Quick. I really love his characterization. There's the moment where you were like, "Hey, can I tell you something? I don't get this," was so like genuine and so cool to get to see. Like, I really loved that. I love there's always this like really sincere thing about it. Like, it's like he's a very sincere person no matter how much of like a facade he puts on, and I really love that about him as a character. And also he was like, I want to make the Soil and Silence Committee feel bad. So like that's like the range on this man. And Dr. Giggles the sad clown really does it for me. So, also, thank you, Elle, for deciding that Dr. Quick was like Pagliacci. That's so good. You two did some great teamwork there. That was delish. And like at the very end, John being like, no, the whole Soil and Silence Committee, they're all sad clowns. That is, what a cool way to wrap that up. I loved it. 10 out of 10. No notes. Very good. Delicious.
Yeah, on Merriweather, Elle, what I really loved about that was, number one, how surprising and slightly shocking it was, where you just like, yeah, I'm gonna get in the cannon. That's what's happening here. I'm gonna see where this takes me, and then that somehow transformed into a weirdly tender and quite lovely moment with Pozzo, where Merriweather revealed the depths of some of the stuff she's done. I love the fact that was so utterly unpredictable. You're just a fucking joy to play with, Zeph. Honestly, you really are. Your reaction to being attacked by giant inflatable clowns and potentially having your face transplanted onto several of them was just the most riotous, awesome thing. So yeah, really loved that. And Gabriel, yeah, you clearly had so much fun with this one. I know, obviously, it's a strange assignment. But yeah, thank you very much. That was fantastic.
Yeah, again, credit to the assignment. Michael Van Vliet writes just that combination of just like the funniest things and the weirdest, the most horrific, all wrapped together. So it gives you a lot of absurdity to play with, and that is a delight to just throw that in front of players and see what they do with it.
Yeah, I can go real quick. Gabriel, I really I love the way you built up to the reveal of the meat lion at the beginning of the session. You played it perfectly. The pacing was mwah. And just like the paint the scene did some of the work, but then like the way that you reincorporated those details like little by little and just like built up the tension was like amazing. So love that. For B and John. I loved the scene with the doctor and Zeph where they talked about, or the doctor was explaining how much he does not understand the circus and its purpose. Um, that was a really great character moment for the doctor, but then like Zeph's response that the circus is like cotton candy, like kind of insubstantial fluff, was amazing. And then the way you brought that back, that image back at the end with the way the circus deflated was like perfect, beautiful. Um, another one for Gabriel, the miss on Merriweather's canon performance and just having her drift off into the void, like oh my God, the way you described it was amazing, and it was just like a beautiful moment. Um, I kind of wish I could have kept it. If if I had felt like I'm closer to being done with playing Merriweather, then I might have just said like, yeah, no, that's a great way to go. Like that's fine. But we're not quite there yet. Um, but yeah, this assignment made me feel insane, in a positive way, I suppose. And I guess my last star is for us not crushing the child's model as the resolution. I only suggested that because I don't know, there's something wrong with me. So thanks for not going with that.
No, it felt right though. That was the problem, is I had to fight every urge to not be like, let's do it, because it felt very right.
No, I love the solution you came up with. It's very sweet.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, stars with that solution. I mean, it was challenging. I feel like for me at that point in the session, I was kind of getting a little mentally overloaded with like, I really don't know how these fit together. But once we went in that direction, it was really interesting and really fun to improvise and very yeah, this is kind of already a bit of an off the rails setting. So as a keeper running it, I really had very little sense of what I thought was going on, and so that was fun and challenging. I liked. I really love the moments, the character moments we got with like Merriweather, feeling Merriweather genuinely like have that joy and excitement, and when you're talking about like, oh, this is what it feels like to actually perform, and then as was mentioned, how you brought it to this whole other place. Seconding a lot of the stars of the range of characters. It was also funny to have Dr. Quick to say like, you know, I don't get it, because in this meta level that was going on a little bit of like, I don't really know what's going on here. I'm just continuing to put weird stuff in front of you. So to have a character voice that was really interesting, and it felt like that kept us really grounded and experiencing that on the ground and see like where these characters were going to go with it. One wish is I didn't get to introduce the hot dog man. I feel like I've just talked about this scenario a lot on Discord, but that's
Bring him back. Bring him back.
maybe he never left. Yeah, he's not a side character. He's a danger, and it's amazing. So there's some fun stuff I didn't quite get to use, but there was so much going on that it didn't really make sense. And I think wishes is just to see how like how these other like meeting the skeletons again, how that plays out, if you are going to take them with you, if that's kind of leading us towards the conspiracy. See what's happening with Lucas, and I think that's all I can think of at this point. Is just really fun off the wall ride with you all, and just a joy to see your characters kind of unleashed, and as players just see you roll with it. So thanks for the session. Oh man, anything else before we go? I did put in the chat. We can do, I think just because of time, I'll catch up on XP and rewards. And then that way David can pick his rewards too next time.
We'll bring him back something from the circus.
Yeah, that's so fun too, to be like, oh, you weren't here. It's cool. We brought you this weird thing. No explanation.
we got you a prize.
Good stuff. All right. I will stop the recording there.